right, good evening, good evening, good evening. This is just a little preemptive for this full moon that's coming up. Here is the full May moon. It's also the full moon. It's a blue moon. It's also the milk and flower moon. Um, yeah, we'll go ahead and get into it. So I went ahead and I got my own codex here that I do for the astrology on it here, and then we're going to get into the spell casting for it. The spell casting that I channeled for this moon is the Milk and Flower Honeypot moon. It's a honeypot spell to sweeten life, right? Essentially, right? I've got in here, I got milk, a little bit of cinnamon, rose petals, and then I've drizzled honey around the top, right? So we're going to get into that. All right. Let me get into what I've written down here. Let's see. Named for the milk and flower moon, named for the ewes in the field getting milk in. It's the first sign of the end of the lean time, also known as the flower moon. Flowers bringing in the promise of a fruitful harvest. The more flowers you have, the more fruit you'll have, right? That's usually what it means. The more, goats or whatever it is that you have that have milk coming in, that means the more offspring that it's about to come in, right? It's a sign of fruitful harvest to come in the future, right? A manifestation of what is to be coming, right? Sagittarius, moon, dark moon, Lilith year. I got the number 9. It's when the energy has you spinning, it's time, and I got the image of a ballerina spinning. I'm when the energy is spinning, to gain balance, you have to focus on a singular point, right? You got Aries, Saturn 3, Neptune 4, Chiron 11 here. Sometimes the key to the future is a doorway you forgot to lock behind you. And it's an energy of you can't move forward when you're dragging the past behind you. But with this Taurus Mars 9, I got being open to new possibilities. I got the energy and the message of carry an old key with you. Make sure it's not a key that has any attachment to a place that you have left behind in the past. A random key or a old skeleton key or something that you would find like that. To manifest new doorways and new possibilities and opening new doors. What do we got? Cancer, Venus 4. Oh no, Cancer, Jupiter 5. Emotional tides can either rock your boat or you can allow them to ebb and flow. And it's that energy of ebb and flow, which has been coming out in a lot of readings lately too, of when you are manifesting, the objective is to allow, when you're manifesting, when you're meditating, it's allowing the energy to come in and then allowing it to go back out without getting attached to any particular thought. You allow a thought to come in. You don't grab onto it. You allow it to go back out. Okay, sorry about that. I needed my drink and I didn't put it anywhere I could reach it. All right, so we're doing the milk and flower, the honeypot spell to sweeten one's life. To start out here, like I said, it's a basic honeypot kind of spell here. I personally like doing this. I will be, and I thought about this after the fact of I could have turned it into, if I would have used heavy cream instead of milk, I could have turned it into butter. But what I'm going to be doing with it is turning it into, I lit you, huh? Turning it into a cheese, and then I'm going to be using that cheese in the summer solstice full moon ritual next month, right? So it's an energy of doing something like that, and it's a way of bringing those old traditions and moving them to the future, right? So in the vessel, I got those ingredients. Really, back in the day, they would use oil infused with rose oil, rose petals. I have an oil infused here with rose and basil. You're going to need one vessel, milk, honey, cinnamon, rose petals. I do the candle there, right? These are super, super easy to make. You can submerge them in just a shallow pan with a little bit of water, heat them up just enough until on low until they're melted. You can add in whatever you want to add in. And then, yeah, then just take them to put them to the side, cool, put them in the fridge, cool them off, and then you've got candles. Easy floating candles. We're going to be purifying and doing a spell candle, right? You can just get one of them big tapers. You can cut it. You can make multiple little candles, something that's not going to take you all night to go through. All right, I'm showing you a quick, easy, simple way of doing this right now. I'm going to be doing a bigger ritual for the Coven of the Silver Cord, so I'm going to be taking all of this down and resetting it back up outside where I actually have like a little fireplace and everything to work with. But in here right now, I'm just doing an easy way that, you know, everybody can do this at home if they wanted to. It's not hard, right? You need a heat-safe vessel here. This is mine. This is a brass mortar from, well, this is actually from the 16th century from the Ottoman Empire. But, yeah, any heat-safe vessel that you can burn like a charcoal tab in, right? You fill it halfway up with salt or sand or something to absorb a lot of the heat. Then you got your charcoals here. You should always use tongs, use fire safety, all that good stuff. You should have a fire extinguisher if you're going to be doing anything that involves fire. Don't do this at home. You're always welcome to come over to the Coven of the Silver Cord. I do petitions for the cord. I do a full spell casting for everybody in there where I join all the members together. Alright, we're going to let that go. Those are always so cool. Fill it up halfway up with salt, charcoal tab. I got my infused oil here. I got a resin mix here of copal and dragon's blood. I also have a herb mix there, Palo Santo and sage. We're going to get into why in a minute. I got petition papers that I've made with the Trinity rune on them, right? The Trinity rune is a representation of the mother, the maiden, and the crone, and the youth, the warrior, and the sage. It's also romance, longevity, and wisdom, which are those, like, the maiden, the youth, romance, the warrior, the mother, longevity, you know, nurturing and fighting for it, right, together. And then you got the crone and the sage, the wisdom, right? Got the small taper candle or the tea light candles. All right, so we got everything. All right, so fire. That's what. Oh, yeah, the cinnamon sticks and cinnamon sticks to go with the cinnamon, right? That's also in the milk and honey. You can also add it to the Palo Santo and the sage, right? So the cinnamon sticks bring fire energy into the casting here. Fire and sweet. They bring purity through heat and attraction and attract abundance with the alluring aroma, right? I got my extra virgin olive oil, which I just use for everything, infused with basil. I added some rose petal to mine. Basil is known for warding off the evil eye. The word basil comes from the Greek word royal. It carries the energy of abundance and divine protection, right? And then we've got the resin, which is the dragon's blood and the copal, right? Both of these resins carry the energy of the blood of the covenant. And the blood of the covenant is stronger than the waters of the womb, meaning that for the masculine energy, this is those that you have fought and bled with. Bonds are stronger than simply those that, you know, are just a brother, right? Or bonds are stronger than simply someone who is just your brother. For the feminine energy, it's those that you have connected with strongly enough where your cycles have synced up. Either like your monthly cycle has synced up with them, or like, you know what I'm saying, you're with them so much your monthly cycle sync up, or if your blood gates have synced up. And the blood gates are what? Blood gates are, your first blood gate is when you're born. The second is when you get your period. The third is when you have a daughter. The fourth is when your daughter gets theirs. The fifth is when, you go through menopause. The sixth is when your daughter has it. It's a whole thing, right? If you kind of sync up with those, and you don't have to have daughters, that's not a whole, like, it is a whole thing in some groups, but that's just the baseline of it, right? But it's those that you've gone through the journey with, right? It doesn't have to be an actual sister, those close enough. This is all about bringing back together a balance of the feminine and masculine energy, and bringing back, bonds and friendships. We got the Spades and Palo Santo, both known for cleansing out impurities and driving out negative energies. You got the Milk, Honey, and Rose Petal Cinnamon Mixture. Milk, Honey, and Rose Petal Cinnamon Mixture is a favorite offering for the Fae, which can also be turned into a cheese or put out as an offering to the ancestors. That can be put out as an offering to the ancestors in June for the summer solstice, as a way to honor them by keeping the knowledge of the practice of making stuff, right? Making butter. Like I said, you can use heavy cream and make a butter where you shake it and you make the butter. You can add vinegar to it and make it into a cheese. You can add a little bit of yogurt to it, make it into a yogurt, whatever. Make it into something. And if you're not going to make it into something, then put it out for the animals. Like, don't waste it, right? Don't just dump it down the drain. You got to offer it up to something, right? Mix the resin and the Palo Santo together. All right, we're going to mix these guys together now. Wish I could find instrumentals that does not focus on damn violins so much, because I feel like the violins come off very, very squeaky on there. Mix the resin and the Palo Santo together. This mix will be used in both the charcoals and in the petition when we're anointing the candle. The petition. All right, so on the petition, you're going to write a goal. We can go ahead and put some on there. Get that going. Oh, yeah. All right, so on your petitions, you're going to want to write a goal you wish to achieve. This season. All right. The petition can either be as small as a piece of paper like this. I prefer the small because you could do this kind of anywhere. Or you can do a full-on letter to the ancestors if that's what you prefer to do. Preparing your candle. I prefer using a taper when using tapers. Alright. I prefer to use a taper because it's a representation of the masculine. The vessel is the representation of the feminine. Putting it all together is putting them both together in order to manifest the outcomes that you're working for, right? I'm all about balancing that energy, bringing earth, air, fire, water to each element that I'm working with here. I want to print this out and put it in there. Alright, so when I do a candle, I always go from the middle down to the base and then the base up to the top. I do that because that's how I also do meditations. When I'm meditating, I always ground down into the ground and then I pull the energy up and I cast it up and out. So we're going to get a little messy here. Alright. So I'm going to go down like that. I do everything in threes. 1, 2, 3. I feel like all the resin's at the bottom. It probably is. Let's see. Yeah. There we go. Alright. There we have our candle going. Alright, I ain't grabbed myself nothing to clean my hands with, so I guess I'm just using my sweatpants. So fancy. Alright. So the candle is anointed. Go ahead and light that. Alright. Oh, needless to be said, I should have put that at the beginning. Always cleanse and clear your space. Of course, my space was already cleansed and cleared before I started all this. Adorn yourself, adorn your altar. Decorate it any way you see fit, whatever calls to you. You don't have to use rose petals, use whatever you got around you. Prepare your petition. Alright, so in preparing our petition here, I don't need this anymore for the rest of this. I need some of my drink. So to prepare your petition, how are we doing? I didn't want to make this very long, so I wrote it all down in hopes that I can get through it pretty quick. Alright, so in preparing the petition, you're going to want to take a little bit of the oil. Right. I usually go for drawing whatever design it is you're already working with. So in this case, we're going with Triskelin. 1, 2, 3. Right. And then we're going to sprinkle a little bit of this on it. Of course, always focusing on your goal. You could be chanting your goal. Right? You can also put a pan down. I said, I'm not too heartbroken about messing up this cloth. It was $3 at Walmart. Just go to the fabric section if you got one that's got a fabric section. Then we're going to seal this intention. What's nice is if you got like a tea light or like a candle that's in a vessel like this, you can have your wax going with that too, and you can just sprinkle the stuff inside of there. Like I said, or you can use a tea light like this, leave it in the silver, light it, sprinkle a little bit of your stuff in there, sprinkle a little bit of the oil in there. Once you have your intention sealed in here, let's do 1, 2, 3. Like I said, yeah, my silly self, I should have put a pan or something down, but we're going to be all right because this is not going to go anywhere. And that is the most simple way to do it. Now, for the Coven the Silver Cord, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding the cinnamon sticks more to it. I'm going to be making the petitions for people who want to join in and they want a personal petition done. I will be making their personal petitions, writing them out for them, doing the whole sealing them within a cinnamon stick, and then I'm going to be putting the cinnamon onto a larger fire outside that I can manage, that can handle holding a whole bunch of these. yeah, feel free to ask any questions. Feel free to come over to the Coven the Silver Cord. And full moon blessings, everybody. Just a fun little easy thing that y'all can do. Blessed be all those who walk those weird and winding paths with me. I love y'all, and I'm back as soon as I can, I promise.